Windy and the Lost Key. A Christmas Story. Chapter 4, The Elven Family, Goblins and Dark Elves.
I will try to explain,
said Mr. Woodworm.
Hidden in the mysterious wood, just beneath the creeping willow tree, is the elven city of Littleos. The elf king, Alred, and his queen, Emeria, had 2 children. A son, Dalamus, and a daughter, Anarina. They were loved so much, but were very different. Dalamus stood at over 6 feet tall, with long sleek white blonde hair hanging over a thin radiant face. Sparkling pink eyes, set well within their sockets, watched energetically over the woodlands he had worshipped for so long. He was cheeky and always fun to be around, playing tricks on his friends and family. Anarina also stood at almost 6 feet tall, with white long wavy hair, and clear aquamarine eyes, a true angel amongst elves. She was quiet, studious, and hardly ever left her parents and her home in the willow tree. She was the more spoilt of the 2, but Dalamus didn't seem to mind his sister getting all the attention. That is until one day the city of Littleos was raided by a malignity of goblins. Many elves were killed in the raid, among them the king and queen. One goblin in particular, named Sluz, is the one who fired the arrows into Alred and Emeria. Sluz is the object of Dalamus' hunt. Dalamus has sworn to avenge their deaths and kill all the goblins in the kingdom by making a sword out of obsidian. Over time, he got together an army of elves. They were promised great fortunes if they brought him the key that unlocks the chest where the obsidian stones have lain buried for years. They failed in their quest, so he put a curse on them, and turned them into wind creatures that now haunt the jagged wood. They are under a spell and must keep trying to find the key, for only then will the curse be lifted. Along with Dalamus, the Dark Elves will never stop hunting for it. Anarina wears a locket made out of obsidian around her neck, given to her by her father. She never takes it off,
said Mr. Woodworm.
Inside the locket is the key to unlock a chest in Rainbow Mountain, where the precious stones were placed many years ago, after being mined by an army of dwarfs. She made a promise to never lose the key and to keep the precious stones safe, as in the wrong hands they can cause great evil.
Where does Anarina live now?
asked Marie, finally creeping out from behind Debbie.
At the top of Rainbow Mountain, in a castle that is heavily protected by a group of trolls, whom she managed to rescue from Dalamus. She fled there after her parents were killed. She has tried many times to save her brother from the dark side,
said Katie.
The Dark Elves must have thought Windy's key was the key to unlock the chest. It is thought that Anarina sent it into the mortal world disguised as an ordinary key to keep it safe, but nobody knows where.
Dalamus will not rest until he has that key,
said Mr. Woodworm.
There are only 3 things in the world that elves fear: the sea in a storm, a night with no moon, and the anger of a gentle man.
He told them.
We should bring our dad out here then,
said Marie in a quiet whisper, so only her sister could hear. She heard Debbie giggle and smiled to herself, imagining her dad out here. He would love an adventure. Looking at the faces of his expectant visitors, the toy shop owner walked out from behind the shop counter and stood in front of them. He took his glasses off his nose and spoke to them.
I am very sorry, children, but I cannot help you because I have no keys,
said Mr. Woodworm, shaking his head and rubbing his chin.
That horrible cat Walla Walla Whisker has stolen all my keys. He broke into my toy shop last night and took them all.
Do you know where he has taken them?
asked Katie.
To his cave in Rainbow Mountain,
explained Mr. Woodworm, wiping his eyes with his handkerchief.
And where is Rainbow Mountain?
The sisters chorused, as they remembered Katie hadn't answered the question earlier.
Out of Toyland, through the mysterious wood, past the crawling willow tree, on the edge of jagged wood,
said Mr. Woodworm.
Is jagged wood as scary as it sounds?
Said Marie.
Jagged wood is endless and dark, coiling vines dangle from every tree, flowers no longer grow in the rich soil, there is no color in jagged wood. There are few creatures that live there, the ones that do are nocturnal and rely on their hearing and taste buds to get around. They have big eyes, but their sight is lacking. They have short beaks and no visible ears, and their heads are fairly large in comparison to their bodies. Let me get a map and I will show you how to get to Rainbow Mountain safely,
said Mr. Woodworm. As he disappeared into the back of his shop, through a curtain made of what looked like thousands of spiders' webs knitted together, a cat that was sitting next to the fire hissed loudly at Windy, who still sat on the counter minding his own business. Windy, who was not used to cats of any description, shot up off the counter, jumped down onto the floor and scuttled out of the front door. Debbie and Katie were looking at the map Mr. Woodworm was showing them, so didn't notice Windy's escape. Luckily Marie did, so leaving the shop, she ran out after the clockwork dog. To her left and right she thought she could hear faint singing coming from a wooded area to the right of the toy shop. Looking up above the shop door she saw the toad. He was nodding, grinning, and pointing to the right. Taking this as a helpful sign she ran into the wood. She was still running when she realized she could no longer hear singing. Stopping to catch her breath she shouted,
Windy, where are you?
Looking around, she could see the wood was large, misty, and thick with trees, curving and creeping, with swooping vines hanging from the trees. She could hear a mishmash of animal noises filling the air, and the smells transported her back in time, but she could not remember from where. Suddenly she felt very afraid.
If you enjoyed this story, you can find more in this channel. Please like and subscribe. Thank you and have a good time.